And we'll keep a close track on those two protest marches being organized by the BJP and the CPM in just a bit. But on to another very important news. The Supreme Court upholding the ban on firecrackers in Delhi-NCR region. Supreme Court has now decided that there will be no sale of firecrackers and in fact has banned the sale of crackers till the 1st of November 2017. The ban in fact comes in the wake of deteriorating air quality index in the Delhi-NCR region, which touched new low during Diwali each year. Supreme Court now wants to experiment with the decision that they have taken. They want to see how a ban on firecrackers and the sale of firecrackers would impact air quality. They want to see if at all it has any impact, because remember, there were various factors that contributed to the air pollution hitting dangerous levels during Diwali last year, including the crop fires in states of Punjab and Haryana. The apex court now banning firecrackers in the national capital, but had given a temporary respite on the 12th of September this year. However, now the Supreme Court making it very clear that there will be no sale of firecrackers till at least the 1st of November 2017. Let me go straight across now to India Today's Anusha Soni for more details and updates. And Anusha, like we saw last year, the air pollution spiking to alarming levels with a thick blanket of smog and haze hanging over Delhi and the adjoining areas. So this time perhaps the Supreme Court not wanting to take any chances. But will this ban, have the effect that the court expects it to or desires it?
That's a million-dollar question, Avantika, and I think that's the most important question. Because, the few questions which remain unanswered is that what if people buy firecrackers from other states and get it to their homes and burst it then? What are the actions that the authorities can take against those people? There are no penal provisions which are yet in place. Of course, there's a fine that can be imposed, but orders of this nature, which requires mass compliance, do require some sort of a will and cooperation from the public at large if they are at all to be implemented. The court is making it very clear in its order that we want to see it as an experiment as to how it goes forward. What needs to be seen is, will the people living, the citizens of NCR, come out and support the spirit of this order? And more importantly, the court is also saying that they need to monitor the air quality, whether it drops or it becomes any better if there are no firecrackers which are burst in the NCR region. That, of course, the authorities are also very closely monitoring. So clearly one of the biggest experiments that we have seen, it has never happened that on the festival of Diwali, the firecrackers are banned in the national capital region.
Well, one hopes that it is a successful experiment because the lives of just so many people were put to risk last year just after Diwali. We are going to be taking our viewers through some very shocking statistics. I'm going to be showing you these graphics and just look at the particulate matter, which is the standard measure of air quality. What happened last year? Delhi was completely choked. In fact, there was a thick blanket of smog and haze that enveloped the national capital. Before Diwali, it was at 87 p.m. And this is the air quality index that you're seeing at the bottom. 51 to 100 is good. 151 to 200 is moderately polluted. 300 plus. Just see the red area. 300 plus is severely polluted. What was in Delhi was 403 particulate matter. That is the standard measure of air quality. When that was checked, the air quality in the national capital post Diwali was at 403, which is even beyond severely polluted. It was a shocking scenario last year, Anusha. I mean, one could barely see a few meters away with that thick blanket of smog and the air quality really hitting dangerous levels. And it was so dangerous. And everybody at that time, was talking about the various measures. There were very sudden knee-jerk reactions by the Delhi government. So a step by the Supreme Court to check the air pollution, and hopefully this should work. But this is just a ban on the sale of firecrackers. What about crop burning issue? What about the traffic on the roads before Diwali or days after Diwali? What about factories, in the adjoining areas? Will the Delhi government, has the Supreme Court consulted the Delhi government on these factors as well?
Very, very briefly, Avantika, before I come to the question that you're asking me, the court, in fact, this petition in the Supreme Court is filed by 3 infants. These are kids who were about, 6 months or 1 year and 2 years. Now they are grown up. It's been 2 years now. So they are 3 or 4 years old, and they are kids of a few lawyers in the Supreme Court. And kids indeed are one of the worst affected people by this pollution. Many kids have, dysfunctional lungs and problems with breathing. So children indeed are the worst affected lot. As far as the reaction of the Delhi government, what you're asking me is concerned, the Supreme Court had in fact helped the Delhi government and the central authorities as well to formulate a plan to counter the pollution levels. So there is a concerted plan in place with the central and the Delhi government together working on. The Central Pollution Control Authority and the Delhi Pollution Control Authorities together are working on the Bunsen burners in the city, or the smoke emanating, the dust particles coming in, the trucks crossing the Delhi. So there is a plan in place this time, and hopefully this time it should not be a knee-jerk reaction.
Well, one would just hope for the best. In fact, if you remember, Anand Bihar was at its worst last year, just after Delhi. Anusha, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us and getting us all the updates from the Supreme Court upholding the ban on the sale of firecrackers.